Hi, I'm not there in person, but hello from my house. And the news is that I tested positive still, and so I will be out through Wednesday. And I know that's not the best news when it comes to your learning, but I hope that you'll work with me and happily take me back on Thursday when I return. So, for today's lesson, I wanted to talk about some of the grades that I entered into the grade book over this past weekend, and that I would like you to go back to last week's assignments and make up whatever you can through Wednesday, and send me a message in Schoology telling me I finished Khan Academy from last week. Can you look at my scores? And then I can update it. And that I do want you to practice to prepare for a couple of in class quizzes that I'm going to assign you on Wednesday. So these were all of the assignments that I gave you, and I know it was a little overwhelming because I didn't just put the assignments, I put the videos in the hopes that you would watch the videos and then they would help you with the skills. Your substitute last week said that it seemed like you guys needed more help than the videos or more examples, which is why I created a worksheet for your substitute last week. And your substitute did these with you last week on a worksheet that you turned in to me. So today I'm going to do some examples of these two skills. These two went into the grade book as a 5-point total into Power School. These three went into Power School worth 10 points, and it says the word slope in the assignment in Power School. And then these four went in as a 15-point assignment. Again, today I'll go over these first two. Your substitute should have helped you work through these three. And these are just from the video that I did last week and a little bit of what you see today. And just please try not to just wave your hand at that Khan Academy stuff like, oh, this is a video, I can't learn from it. You can try. You're not, when people say you're teaching yourself, it's not always a bad thing. You're being guided through videos, and I'll try to help as much as possible, but it's not a perfect situation, and you're just trying to make the best out of it. So today, like I said, I'm going to assign you a quiz, two quizzes on Wednesday. This is a view from my Khan Academy, and Wednesday is a minimum day. So in my fourth period, I have it scheduled from 11 to 11:52. You could take the quiz twice. I'll give you more details on Wednesday, and I'll take the best score of those two attempts. It's going to go into your grade as a quiz. I wanted to give you a quiz last week. So the goal for you is over the next 2 days to be able to get caught up in class. If you have spare time on Khan Academy, go home, do Khan Academy. Those are the 9 assignments, and they lead up to these two quizzes. So that's your goal. Okay, that's our goal. So the first assignment was talking about things that we had talked about in class, that when you have two variables, x and y are both variables, they change with each other, that an equation has infinite solutions. So this first set, I'm going to do a couple of examples, and then hopefully you'll be able to answer some on your own. So again, this is the assignment that's called Solutions to Two Variables in Khan Academy, and here are some sample questions. So the first one is, which ordered pair is a solution? And the answer choices all come this way. Like A, that's a coordinate point. This is X, this is Y. B, that's also another coordinate point. a little wax on my pen. This is X, this is Y. And then option C is like that, yes, they both work. And then option D is that neither works. So the questions are all like that. What you would do is some work mentally, or if you did it on paper, is you would take the equation and instead of the y, you would replace it with the number 3. So you wouldn't have variables. They'll just be all numbers, all constants. And so that 3 goes right here. In the place of the y, you put a 3. So this is similar to things that we're doing in class, because we're working on substitution and elimination. And when you do substitution, instead of the letter y, you substitute it with the number. So it's similar to things that we're doing, but in a different, it's Khan Academy and we're not solving a system. So you're just talking about the solution to this equation. There are infinite solutions, and they want to know, is this a solution? Once you do substitute, I'm going to multiply any number with the x that I replace, and then these two combine with addition, subtraction, right? If the signs are different. And so in this case, they're not equal. And so I know this one doesn't work. And then you do the similar thing, but you're going to start with replacing x and y with these two values. So I'll replace y, which is a little confusing because in the coordinate point, the x is listed first, but then in the equation, the y is listed first. So it's a little weird. It feels like backwards and jumbled, but replace letters with numbers. And once you do that, then you can, you're welcome to borrow a calculator, right? And this is multiply and then add. And 9 subtract 8 at this point is 1. Those two, that also didn't work. And so the correct answer choice for this one would be neither. Okay, so that's what the question is asking when it asks which ordered pair is a solution. Let me do one more, and then I'm going to have you try to work on 2 on your own. So which ordered pair is a solution? Again, maybe I'll do this one in orange, so you see my work here. So this is x, this is y. I'll start with a y. So 4 equals -3, and then instead of the x, I'll put a -2. And then, so I'm just copying this, right? This is y equals -3x subtract 4, but instead of the letters, I'm substituting them. Then you have to do the math, and this did not work out. All right, and then I'll do, trying to get all matchy with my highlighters. Now I'll do in green, I'll do the same equation again. I'm looking at y equals -3x subtract 4, but instead of the x, I'll put these two, and instead of the y, I'll put that one. Sorry, 5 here in place of the y, -3 in place of the x. 5 equals 9 subtract 4 does work out this time, and so my answer choice is only this one. It's not both, because this one didn't work, and it's not neither because this one did work. And so this is the answer that was correct on that one. So I hope that helped, and I want to give you a minute to try to answer this question. And then I want to also have you do this one. and then move on to the next skill. So the two that I'm showing you today are counted as a 5-point assignment in Power School, and it has to do with the idea of having a solution to an equation when there are two variables, that there are infinite solutions, but they change. And so this is a similar skill. That's why I put them together. So this next question starts again with an equation that has two variables. It's got an x, it's got a y. However, they want you to find the missing value. And so the missing value in this case is the x, because coordinate points, they're written with x first and then y second. So they're not outright telling you what to substitute, but it's your job to recognize that the second number in the parentheses is the y. So I'm going to sub in a -2 for the y, and then I don't have anything. I'm missing the x, but then it just goes back to what we started doing this year, which is solving. Now it's not a 2-variable equation, it's a 1-variable equation. There's only going to be one answer. And so I'm going to start canceling numbers off the side of the x to try to isolate it. -6 is -2x. That's the first step. And then I'm going to divide by -2. Dividing a negative by a negative gives me a positive. So this isn't multiple choice. This one, you're just going to fill in the numeric missing value. Okay. And so I'm going to have another example like that in the same skill, but I wanted you to practice this one on your own. It's similar, but before I show another example, I wanted you to try it. When I completed these two skills on Khan Academy, one of these, we could start getting more familiar with the forms. Like one of the equations was slope-intercept form. And then as I moved on, the other equation was not. So this is looking like kind of the setup when we do elimination, because the x and y are on the same side, but then it's not what's called standard form because there's another x and there's another y on the other side. So this one's a little odd, but I chose it anyway. You still want to identify the given and the missing. And so in this problem, once again, the missing is the x. And the problem that you just did, what was missing was the y. But on this one, you're missing the x, so you're not going to replace the x. You're given a y, and so for y, you get 0. And that's what makes this problem a little weird, because it's not weird, but 0, because it wipes things out, people... maybe they do think it's weird. I don't know. It's just different. So instead of the variable y on this problem, I'm substituting the y with the 0. And then again, here, it's unique because I'm subtracting 0. And when you subtract 0, it looks like it disappears. In the same way, when you multiply by 0, it creates a 0, but then you're adding nothing. And so you get this equation right here. And so this is an example of a no solution sometimes. But in this case, if I were to try to collect like terms on one side, I'm going to subtract the smaller amount of x's. Sorry, when I said this is no solution, that's not true. See, I guess I do think it's weird. I get 0 equals 3x, and there is a way to solve this, because if x is 0, then 3 times 0 is 0. And so this is actually the solution to this problem. If you fill in x is 0, it is correct. So please try to give this question a shot. It's in that same skill, which is finding the missing value in a two variable equation. So the last little bit that I want to do is going back to graphing, and I don't expect you to be writing this down. Maybe you had scratch paper out. I'm going to ask you to answer some questions through this video, which I'm going to try to make into an ed puzzle if I can figure it out. But then after, so this video won't work if I don't make it into an ed puzzle. But after completing the ed puzzle, I would like you to ask for a piece of graph paper after, and I'll let your teacher know that you're expecting it. Because I'm going to also put up a worksheet that I want you to complete, and I want you to complete as many problems as you can and submit that in physically to your substitute teacher, your teacher for the day, maybe 3, and then have a good day, right? So this isn't over yet. I'm still going to go through some problems, but the problems that I go through, I wanted you to do on a separate piece of paper after the video. So the next set, I did a little video last week. It didn't get that many views. I didn't think I got any likes. It's still in the folder if you want to look at it. And it has to do with intercepts and your graphing lines using intercepts, partially anyways. So this is my little spiel to help you with these questions. And then you guys did a quizzes last week that had to do with horizontal and vertical. And don't forget, when I do click on this button, it shows the scale, but then there's also videos that go along with it. And I wanted you to watch the videos before you did the scale. The slope of a horizontal line is 0. Y equals lines are like this. And then the horizontal lines are y equals lines. So this is x and this is y. So the equation would be y equals 6 because it's horizontal. So that's the stuff that I wanted you to watch a video and try to get, learn through a video, which is not always the easiest. I mean, you're doing it right now, but I know you personally, you don't know Con personally. And so anyway, you would have to watch these 2 videos, I think, to get some help on that one. So away we go into this last segment here that has to do with identifying the x and y intercepts of a line that isn't horizontal or vertical, and using them to graph. So linear functions are usually the ones you start learning the first function you learn. Next chapter, we're going to talk about quadratic functions. And the idea of an equation of a line is, or the graph of a line, is that you just need 2 points. When we do slope intercept, the intercept is the first point, and the slope gets us to the next one, and the next one, and the next one, and the next one. But once you got 2, you can just connect them. So we're going to find the x and the y intercepts. I know you don't have this paper here, but the way to determine what the x and the y intercepts are like those skills that you saw in Khan Academy, is that you take one variable, you make it 0, you solve for the other one, and recognize that that's a solution. And then you can do that with the other variable. So when I'm looking for the x-intercept, I let the y be 0, and then I solve for the x. And then when I'm looking for the y-intercept, I let the x be 0, and I solve for the y. And that will create 2 solutions. Each solution is a point on the graph. And so I'll start here by letting the y equal 0. But as I mentioned, about 0 is like, it's not always weird. It's pretty cool because it just takes this whole piece of the equation out. And now I'm just looking at 3x equals 12, and I divide both sides by 3, and then I get x equals 4. But then you have to take a step back and say, you know, what was my point here? I was trying to make a point on the graph, so it just says x, but don't ignore the fact that I let the y be 0. Y was there to begin with. Then I'll take that same equation, 3x plus 6y equals 12, and then now I'll let the x be 0. And again, the cool thing about this guy is it just wipes that piece out, and it turns into a pretty straightforward equation. Divide by 6, and the y is 2. But the y is only 2 because I made the x disappear, and the way that you make the x disappear is by turning it into a 0. So what I see commonly is that people make the mistake, just go, people make the mistake of calling this the 0.42. And it's not the 0.42, it's the 0.40 and then 0.2. So 0.2 is on the y-axis, and then 40 is on the x-axis, and then you connect the dots and you have a line. So what's true about this is that once you have that line, you can tell what the slope is. I see the slope is down 1/2. You know, the thing with the rulers is they're a little off, but slope isn't. So some of that stuff you guys did last week with finding the slope of a line is that you can tell from a graph, and you know it's constant, or you could tell from 2 points. And so if I wanted to, I can write the equation in slope-intercept form based off of the graph. I just want you to know everything, you know what I mean? And you want to know what you have available to yourself. And if you see a problem like this, what I look at is, 3 goes into 12 evenly, and then 6 goes into 12 evenly. So I could just graph that kind of quickly. But it does depend on what the question's asking. Okay, so I'm going to do a couple more, and then I'll have you try to answer some questions on your own. So this next one, to find the x-intercept, I let the y be 0. If it's an x-intercept, you're going to get a number right here. Sometimes it's 0, 0, but usually in like worksheets like this, it's not. So if I let the y be 0, then the letter y is gone, right? This turns into 2x equals 18 because this part just goes away. And then I get that x is 9 by dividing. So 90 is my x-intercept. So sometimes that's not the best choice because you see 6, 7, 8, 9. I think this might have happened on my other video too. And so you might want to do another method. But so if all I was asking for is the x-intercept, it's fine. But then if I asked you for the graph, it's kind of messy. The y-intercept, if I start with the same equation, the y-intercept is going to have a number for the y, and the x is going to be 0. And so often I'll just like cover it up, but don't cover up that negative. The 6 is negative. So this x being 0 is not going to change the fact that the 6 is negative. It's just going to be like 0 minus 6y. And then I'm going to divide by -6, and then I'll get that the y is -3. That one is graphable. And so as you study slope a lot, you start seeing like, okay, well, I got to get from here all the way to there, and there has to be a pattern to it, you know. So how am I going to go up 3 and over 9 in a short pattern so I can get all the points? So up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3, up 1 over 3. Again, that's only if I'm trying to be extremely accurate. If all I was trying to do is graph 2 points and connect them, I would just have to extend the x-axis out a little bit. But if I was trying to have a little extra fun, then I would want to write the equation, and the equation would be 1/3 x minus 3 written in slope-intercept form. Again, I already have an equation, so I wasn't trying to write the equation. I was trying to graph, and I was trying to find intercepts. Okay, I'm going to do one more, the easy one, and then I'm going to ask you to do the hard one. So again, when I see this and I'm working quickly, the x-intercept is going to have a 0 for the y, and that's basically just going to give me that the x is 5, right? Again, if I just like cover that up, x equals 5. And then the y-intercept is going to be when the x is 0, so that's going to be 0 plus y equals 5. And then the y is 5. So this one's kind of fun. Like I said, I'll do the fun one. And then if you connect the dots, you'll see that your pattern to get from one of those points to the other is down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1, down 1 over 1. So there's slope, bam, 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 bam. Again, this is for some added fun. Oh yeah. I'm gonna write the equation of the line. Too much fun. I'm gonna write the equation of the line that's slope-intercept going y equals. And then the slope here is going down 1 and over 1. So negative x plus the intercept is 5. So this is just another form of the line. Again, thank you if you're watching. I hope you are. And I know this isn't the easiest way to learn something, but thankfully you have your peers use them and try to enjoy this and learn at the same time. And I will see you again tomorrow on a video or in person on Thursday. All right. Have a good day.